Hey folks, here OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the Wimius L2. This is a 4K action camera that uses a Sony sensor and has a wide-angle 170-degree lens. It's a waterproof camera that competes with the GoPro and other extreme sports cameras that you can easily mount onto your helmet, onto your shirt, and capture your moments when you're exercising or doing extreme sports outside. It also comes with Wi-Fi enabled, so there's a companion app that you can install on your iPhone or Android device to monitor what's being recorded on the camera. It comes with a unique design that's different from other low-cost and generic cameras I've seen in the past, and this company has a decent reputation of making high-quality yet low-cost action cams, and the L2 seems to be a good example of that. Taking a closer look at the packaging here, things seem pretty simple, and there's access to a number of accessories and mounts in the packaging. To adds to the value. You can see that in terms of sensor, it can capture images up to 12 megapixels, and it also captures slow-mo videos in addition to time-lapse video right out of the box. There's a 2-inch LCD display that you use to look at your images and videos directly on the device, and the waterproof case, again, looks quite different from other action cameras we've checked out in the past. It takes a standard micro SD card up to 64 gigabytes, and we've already taken this out of the box and popped in a card, but it doesn't come included with one when you first purchase it. We'll take a closer look at the design in a second. Other contents include access to the aforementioned mounts, in addition to a standard micro USB cable for charging, and what's interesting is there's also a way to directly charge this by popping it into this proprietary battery charger. So this charger enables you to purchase spare batteries and directly use this little dock with the micro USB port for charging, which is a special feature I haven't seen in other action cams yet. Other mounts, standard micro USB cable, and there's also a spare door for the waterproof case, in addition to a tripod mount of sorts if you want to mount it onto a standard tripod, 3M taped microfiber cleaning cloth, and all the way at the very bottom here, there's access to the instruction manuals, documentation, and a soft carrying pouch to protect your investment when you're traveling or on the go. So taking a quick look at the design of the case next, what I kind of like is the oversized yet round camera lens protector. The shape here just makes it seem a bit more elegant and well designed. The case is made out of a polycarbonate material that feels strong and sturdy in the hand. You can access all of the controls, including toggling between menus, power, and capturing a shot directly in the case with these protected metal buttons, and there's even cutouts for the LED notification lights, which will flash to tell you the status, such as if it's recording or if the battery is low. I can open the case pretty easily. You can see the screen kind of pops out like so, and in the hand this remains a fairly compact camera. I like the fact that it has rounded corners as opposed to the sharper corners of the GoPro, so it differentiates itself in terms of the design and the looks. The keys themselves also make a lot of sense in terms of ergonomics and positioning. You can tap on these to toggle up and down through menus. A power switch is located in the front that also goes through your various modes and settings, and the very top just uses a simplified, easy-to-use key for tapping on it to record or capture an image. On the side, you have access to the micro USB port for charging. There's also the micro HDMI port for directly connecting it to an HD monitor, and a micro SD card for expanding the memory. Another feature I like is that there is a standard tripod port directly on the camera without the need to use it in the case and then pop the case onto this to get the port. So with this availability, it means you can directly pop this onto a standard tripod and start shooting it, even if you don't want to take the bulkier case with you for waterproofing purposes. Let's take a closer look at the menu interface next. So it's pretty easy to use and to set up. It boots up in about 10 to 15 seconds, and afterwards the menu is pretty intuitive and easy to see. The LCD monitor also offers generous viewing angles, and even though it's not an IPS panel, it remains bright enough to be seen outdoors. You have access to things like if the HDR mode has been activated, if you're in the recording mode or photography mode. You can take a look at how much room is available. Right now we have a 2 gigabyte card, so you can see why the storage is a little low, and by default it starts recording at 4K by 24 frames per second. There's also a battery indication status down below. Battery life is a little bit on the short side of the spectrum. I would say you can get around 2 hours, 2.5 hours of recording in 4K before it stops and you have to recharge it. Luckily, you can still use it when being plugged into power, so you can just bring a power bank with you and it will still perform when on the go. There's also white balance modes, modes about the storage information located on the sides. So if you want to start recording a video, I can just tap on the record key here once and it begins automatically. There's no real delay, and there's also a microphone on board, so it picks up your sound pretty good. If you do want a better microphone, you can also purchase accessories designed for things like the GoPro that sticks onto the standard micro USB port and extends out into a microphone if you want to pick up a better lavalier microphone or something like that as an accessory in the future. So no worries there. Additional LEDs will start to flash to tell you that it's currently in the recording mode. So let's stop that for a second and take a look at some other features. I can tap again on the back key here to cycle through the next function, which is capturing an image. From here you can see that this is indeed a very wide angle camera, and details are definitely present. Still, it's a fixed focus camera just like the GoPro that creates less shaky movements when you are jogging or moving around because it's super wide angle, but it does have a slightly fisheye lens effect that kind of distorts your image and makes the corners of things seem a little rounded when in real life it's flat. Regardless, it works pretty well, although it's not meant as a dedicated point and shoot camera per se. Images can tend to look out pretty good if you're capturing landscape shots as opposed to images really up close. You can also have a few settings to customize through, and this takes me to the playback mode. The first things I can see are the videos that I've recorded on here, so I can now use the keys on the side to navigate up, down, left, and right. For instance, if I like this video and I want to watch it, I can now tap on it once more and it will start to play back for me. So pretty intuitive and easy to use. You can see that the display here does a good job of showing off the colors, and you can see that indeed it looks like a pretty smooth camera. There's no real jumpy movements despite the lack of an optical image stabilizer, just because of this wide angle view and the effect of the lens. But all in all, it does a pretty good job. There's also a small speaker, so it plays back sound if you have it in your videos as well. When it comes to the quality of the videos, we'll do a few more sample clips and show you guys that in a moment. But in general, it performs well in outdoor environments. Even in relatively lowly lit environments, it does decent, but if there's no light at all, it will definitely struggle since there isn't a built-in LED flash and there's no infrared sensor. Finally, we can enter the settings by tapping on the back once more. Here we can change things like the video resolution. I can loop record and use this like a dashboard cam in my car if I wanted to. Time-lapse motion detection, so it starts recording when motion has been detected on the sensor. And I can also change the audio profile. So stuff like this is also pretty fun and easy to toggle through. I can also change the image resolution, burst modes, sharpness, HDR, stuff like that. And then of course Wi-Fi, I can set this up, turn it on or off to conserve on battery power, and change this beep sound from the speaker and turn that on or off as well. So everything is pretty well thought out. Tapping it once more enters into the viewfinder mode for video files again. So no real complaints as far as the functionality of the software. It seems very intuitive and well thought out and easy to start using it. Next we'll take a closer look at some sample videos that we took. So as seen from those sample videos, the image quality is actually pretty good, certainly comparable to other low-cost action cams on the market. It is 4K, so it does get quite sharp. If you zoom in, you can still get lots of details, which is good. And again, colors are well balanced and they're fairly accurate looking. And as long as you're capturing far landscape shots like mountains, trees, your adventures when you're moving, it does a good job. If you're super up close within a few feet and you're showing text, it doesn't tend to work as well, just because again the sensor is fixed focus and not meant for tiny objects up close. But all in all, again, the video quality works well, and 4K video recording is a great feature to have, again, if you do have a 4K monitor or screen to view it back on, even though it does take up a bit more storage and space. You can also downgrade the quality of the video to standard 1080p or 720p. That still works quite well if you don't want to have quite as much detail or storage space taken up. So no real complaints there. Microphone quality is okay. It's a little bit small and tinny as expected, but you can improve that yourself by purchasing an optional accessory. That's something to quickly point out. So I would say that the Wimius L2 is a pretty good action camera. It's a good 4K action cam just because it's easy to use, it's ergonomic, and I like the fact that they went for an original design, which translates into meaningful features like an oversized shutter key, simple to tap on, simple to understand that it records immediately, and an array of LED lights that tells you the status almost at any angle when you're looking at the camera, which is also quite useful. It's compact. I like the fact there's a standard tripod mount right at the bottom of the camera, and the video quality also doesn't disappoint. The companion Wi-Fi app also works fairly well. It's a basic app for iOS or Android, and the interface is simple and straightforward. Although the original version was written in Chinese, since this is a company based in China, so there are a few things that you have to kind of work out in translation, and not everything has been converted over yet. But the interface is simple. You get a thumbnail of what the camera is looking at. You can tap on an oversized key to begin recording video or to take an image. You can tap on the gallery to look at those images or videos recorded using the camera, and there's a very little delay, but it's not too bad since it's using Wi-Fi as opposed to Bluetooth, and so things remain fairly stable in the app. And you can also take a look at some settings and toggle between resolution, stuff like that in the app, which are all fairly standard and stuff we've seen before on a Wi-Fi action camera. So that's been the Wimius L2. Overall, I think that this is one of my favorite low-cost 4K action cams, just because it comes with spare batteries, battery chargers, and cases that enhances its value. But more importantly, it has a distinctive look that's unique and not just another replica of the GoPro. The video quality is also quite good at this price point, and overall, the ergonomics are well thought out and make sense. So you can check out more details in our official written review. But for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the Wimius L2, a 4K action camera.